Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining my stream today. I I'm hoping that the music it's actually sounding better. As such, right? I realized that I've noticed that I wasn't setting up my audio feed correctly. Even though I think now too it still may not be correct, but it's just taking me a while. I mean, bear with me. I'm not a sound engineer or any kind of media production kind of person, but I'm doing it as I'm learning as I'm streaming. I'm learning to do it. So sorry about that. So I kind of got everybody kind of delayed in that case. But let me know too if the the audio is better because I realized that I just wasn't doing it correctly, and then the sound didn't come out correct and correctly. So that's why too I was taking a bit of time to try to fix it. Not that it's completely fixed. I still need to figure something out, but I realized that I need to test it. So I figure, okay, just dive in, just test it while I'm streaming. It's called testing in production. That's what I'm doing. So, but thank you for waiting for me. You have all been very patient, and I don't know if Timeless Potato is there. She is my Timeless Potato. If you're there, well, everybody, if you don't know her, well, okay, so you are based in Europe, and we've exchanged a lot of messages, and you've always been the kind of like my you called yourself a shadow kind of speaker in here. But anyway, thank you so much, Timeless Potato. Lost Algorithms, App Boy, Hetty, and who else did I forget? Oh, of course, you too. Fusnabo, that's right. Yes, of course. Fusnabo in Finland. Am I correct? Okay, I always got it confused. Finland, Norway, and Sweden is all the Scandinavian countries. So, oh, thank you. Timeless Potato, you're there. Norway, that's right. I am so sorry. Fusnabo. For some reason, I was thinking of you kind of more on Finland. I'm trying to get my geography correct. So, Norway is like the westmost, right? If I looked at the map, Northern Europe, Scandinavian country is Norway, Sweden, Finland. Am I correct? Or is it Norway, Finland, Sweden? I actually need to kind of go look at the map again, but I know it is like the three countries, the Vikings, right? Yeah. But to me, right, I think it's so fascinating, all of these different stories, and then and it's just fascinating. I mean, to me, I'm just getting excited meeting folks like yourselves. Even though I don't get to see you, but it's just from the the interaction. And thank you. Whose novel is correcting me now? Yes, Norway, Sweden, Finland. So okay, so I got it correct. That's right. Yes. Oh, and that's why Norway is in NATO because it's closer to US. I'm aware of Norway closest to the coast of the west side because I was in Norway before, right, for Java zone. So that was I remember because I flew Iceland airline. So then I had to stop in Reykjavik, and then from there, I know it wasn't that long a flight then from Iceland to Norway. So I know that it is kind of like the first country closest to Iceland. So and then I kind of always got confused about Sweden and Finland, but I know now I kind of recall. I think it's true, right? Finland is in is like borders with Russia, right? So so some geography lessons for everybody, and geography lessons in Northern Europe. So it's always so exciting, and some days everybody tells me too. Then let me see. We have Orange Jackie. What is it? Bark Tech? Okay, you got to tell me what it means. I don't quite understand. But anyway, Fusnabo. Yeah, that's right, Fusnabo. Thank you. Yeah, Finland is next to Russia. So yeah. And yeah. So anyway, this is like the pre-Christmas episode. So I was thinking of what I should be talking about. It's just it. Basically, I can have many things that I can talk about, right? And so okay, so just want to make sure my microphone sounds okay, right? Because I'm kind of mushing in my sound thing, but I sort of like doing it mixed. And like I said, right, previously I wasn't doing it correctly. So I think then I realized the music sound came out really kind of hoarse because it's not really picking up things from my audio output. So anyway, I'm using NDI now to do it, but I don't know if I'm doing correctly. Yes, removing log4j in the dependency. Yes, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Well, the thing is too is that you can still use log4j, but the thing is you do need to use the version that they have patched it up, right? So I think that's is it like 2 point? Is it like I think it affects like 2.14, and I think that even I've been kind of not paying exactly close attention to it. Shame on me. But anyway, because if you don't use it, then I don't pay attention. But the point is that okay, so over here, right? I just wanted to show everybody because just today, in fact, like if you look at the date, right? It's just about right now is about 3:40 Eastern time. So it's like 2 hours ago. So this is kind of fresh off the oven, right, so to speak. So this is the one if you want to read about, or at least like coming from IBM. This is the public statement, right, about updates on Apache Log4j. So yeah, and let me kind of take a look. Let me post it in here. So IBM's latest update about the Log4j vulnerability. So I just posted there. So if you're interested in reading up on it, you can find out. But of course, too, IBM is standing on the position of guarding all of our products that are using Log4j. But we do recommend you updating, right? And if you're using IBM products, make sure you get the right patch. And Fullsnapple, yes, you're saying that. I think they patched it, but the patch wasn't complete. Yes, it is correct. I think definitely all software vendors, library owners, they have patch, but I think because they constantly are testing, so it's not like fully kind of invulnerable or unvulnerable, or what you call it, fully safe, right? So work is still being done, is what it is. So, but the thing is, I mean, as such, right? This kind of things, and if you were here, right, at last week's episode when I had our guest Steve Poole, again, Steve is a very dear friend of mine, of also the IBM team, because Steve was an engineer, started off as an engineer, software engineer with IBM, and also with the WebSphere application server. So he's kind of really deep experience on the engineering side. Then he switched to doing efficacy work. And then since then, it's just a lot of efficacy. And then last year, he transferred over to Red Hat. But from Red Hat 2, he left Red Hat, and then now is with Sonatype. So it should be very interesting. If you're interested in anything with Sonatype, let me know. I'll find Steve. And then he's just such a wonderful guy. It's just he's based in England, Hursley, around Hursley. That's where he was, with the IBM research lab in Hursley, UK, which is like about, and then correct me if you are in the UK, I think it's roughly an hour of train ride from London. Yeah, I flew to London. I forgot which airport exactly, the name. The other one, not Heathrow. So from there, I remember I went to the train station and then took the train out to Hursley, and took about an hour or so. And it's a beautiful campus. So if you ever are in England, if you are near there, do go out to visit the Hursley campus. It's just really nice. I think I was lucky. I was there on April 1st, and it was a very nice spring day. It was really sunny, and they were telling me, oh, it doesn't usually get so much sun, but I think they welcomed me there. So it was really good. Anyway, don't mean to digress, but that's where Steve is based out of, and he's a really great guy, good friend. So anyway, so that's what it is. So yeah, so if you're interested in kind of reading up on that, this is that. And then also, right, I also well, this also is the original detail, right? And last week I didn't get as much chance, because I was mostly letting Steve talk. So again, the original CVE issue is this one. So I just wanted to point out to you, if you're interested in reading up the original detail of this, right? So essentially, two is, yeah, oh yeah. So that's the thing, right? Is if you're using Log4j 2, 4j, Log4j 2, and then 2.0 beta 9 through 2.12.1 and 2.13.0 through 2.15, then JNDI features used in configuration log messages and parameters do not protect against attacker-controlled LDAP and other JNDI related endpoints. So those are kind of the things. So if you aren't really using JNDI and LDAP, I think you should be okay in that sense. And it's actually interesting too. If you were here last week when I was asking Steve why it took, so long for this to be uncovered. And in fact, I think the thing is that it probably has been exploited for quite some time. Maybe it just wasn't properly communicated, announced out to the world, but maybe must be somebody, a committee, whoever decided, okay, well, we really need to alert everybody to the significance of this, this threat, essentially. So it's kind of like recently kind of became talk of the town, so to speak, right, since December 10th. And so that's what it is. So it's kind of interesting because I think, again, right, because doing logging is who would ever thought, if you're doing logging, why would it be difficult? It's just for helping you to do tracing, like observability type of thing. Who would ever think of exploiting it too? But of course, so to speak, the clever, but the clever in the bad way, bad intentions guy would kind of go out and kind of search for this kind of loophole, kind of weaknesses to exploit, and that's what it is. Yeah, that's right, Fusnabo. Yeah, that's actually is really worrisome. Yeah, exactly. It's a design feature. Yeah, that's right. I know. Is are you the Rodham? Are you Max? Yeah, let me kind of got it straightened. Because sometimes with your handle I can't tell who's who, but you can correct me too. You must be Max, right? You said it's from Bruno's. Yeah, the stream, right? And correct me. So anyway, yeah, exactly. So I think, yeah, okay, Max. So you are Max. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, sometimes I just wasn't sure, but thank you for confirming. But anyway, it is very true. It kind of makes me wonder too. Not just with Log4j, right? There could be other things too. In fact, like I said, those with a clever mind, I really suggest that why don't you put your clever mind into something really productive rather than into like exploiting something and to your advantage, right? We really would want to encourage those of you. Please, don't cause any havoc. If you, yeah, maybe you're already doing good things. You discover you can be an ethical hacker. You find out things and you report it and you help to fix it. I think that's what needs to be done. Anyway, to me too, I think computer security. Actually, all of these like they have like black hat or white hat security. What you call those hackers, right? They're black hat. Kind of all these things. They're ethical hackers. In fact, I myself too, when I first started with computers in the 90s, right? When I started working in the industry, I remember, well, I was doing mostly Unix back then. I actually started off with Xenix, if you know that, right? Xenix, it's actually what Santa Cruz operation, right? SCO, right? So it's basically Santa Cruz. I don't know if they are still in, kind of like Xenix, and then Unix, right? So so that's the Unix kind of Linux variation, you might say, that I started with. Because prior to that too, I was kind of more with the mini mainframe, not really mainframe, but those were like Digital Equipment Corporation, DEC, VMS, right? It's actually VMS. If you ever work with that, it's actually a pretty amazing operating system. Like again, I think I might. Some of you may be aware that I've talked about my interest too when I was in university, college, right? I did a paper on operating systems, and at the time was actually MVS. So that's one of the IBM, kind of what is it called? MVS. I can't even remember. Mainframe virtual. Well, anyway, that's the IBM mainframe system, and I did a paper on that back then. But anyway, when I first started working, then I worked with digital VAX VMS, and it is actually a very robust operating systems. But of course, it was kind of back then it was kind of really powerful for a while. It was running a lot of production systems and everything, but it's proprietary. It's owned by Digital Equipment Corporation based in Massachusetts, right? So anyway, as I remember too, was interesting, and there was also a couple other mini mainframes like Wang, if you heard of that, right? WANG Wang OS, right, and all these things. And so that was how I started, and then Unix is kind of started to come into play, and so that's when I kind of switched to doing Unix. So I work with like all the vendors flavor, right? AIX, like IBM, I've worked with that, HPUX, and then there's also what else? Oh my gosh. Sun, of course, Sun OS, and then eventually Spark, right? And all these things. So I've done those, but they are kind of, similar, right? To like Linux. Then of course, Linus Torvald kind of started with the Linux operating system. So that's when I kind of switched to Linux. And of course, like since then, it was more into the open source stuff. Anyway, yeah. So Santa Cruz, anyway. So Santa Cruz had Operation SCO had this like mini version called Xenix, right? I was kind of sharing with you, and that's the really first version when I first kind of learned about Unix. It was a really great way to learn about Unix, and that's how I kind of got all of those commands memorized by default. But of course, things like you have shell, all these concepts, right? They're all new. I still remember, the one of the kind of nice thing too is basically you can use the pipe, right? The pipe is still used, right? I guess the the concept of piping is actually, kind of, it doesn't matter what operating system you have. That's how computers operate, right? You just like connecting different processes. They are just through pipes, right? For example, things like that. So using pipes and using set and arc and doing all of these things, and that's when I kind of pick up all those skills, and it was really, really, really fun too for a while. And then I was using VI for editor, but then eventually there was what is it, Emacs, right? GNU Emacs. So that's how I was doing GNU Emacs, and that's why I'm familiar with it. And for longest time, before all of these fancy IDE comes into play, that's what I use. So that's why too I still have a special kind of love for these kind of older fashioned tools, because they really are convenient, right? Sometimes I'm still using my Emacs editor for editing things on my system, rather than using other texting. I'm just so used to it. I set my keystrokes to Emacs, and of course, I wasn't one of those superpower users, so I didn't have all of these like different keyboards binding and all of these things. And but anyway, I know of folks who kind of make it really, really fancy, is what it is. But anyway, those were the days. So let me know. And I think isn't it Timeless Potato? You are or were an Emacs user, right, or something? I think I remember you were like trying to help me with some things too. But anyway, if you're an Emacs, yeah, person, yeah. So that's what I just thought I'd talk about. Anyway, I kind of diverted again. So let's kind of go back, right? So this is the CVE. So it's just more like I like to review some of the things we talked about last week. Like I said, it was a bit of a, uh, kind of focus episode on just the Log4j with Steve. So I just want to follow up a little bit and again, like show you that. And also, this is the 7 days ago too was YK, who is also, by the way, online too with us. He's the lead developer advocate of the advocacy team, the WebSphere Liberty advocacy team. So that's why too, because we had some meetings earlier. So I said, well, why don't you guys kind of come and join the stream? And then there are also two other advocates on the team, but they are based in the UK. And that was a bit late for them, so they didn't join. But otherwise, too, there are so far only four of us. So that's why too you saw the people on the stream last week, and this is what YK kind of wrote up, and let me kind of share that with you too. It's actually over here, so then you can kind of look at it. I don't think there's any update since he posted it last week, but let's kind of also share that again. So this is the WebSphere Liberty teams uh, kind of update, right, about the this is the blog, by YK. So if you're interested, right, if you didn't catch that last week, so FYI, these are all FYI. So okay, so anyway, and I wonder too. So Fustabo, you are like specialist in the .NET side of things, C sharp. So what do you then do for logging, right? Say, for example, I'm not familiar with it because I don't do enough .NET to know about it. Is there any kind of logging mechanism, perhaps, or maybe because Microsoft, the .NET side is more proprietary, so it's obviously too. Then a lot of your kind of libraries, all of these supports are more controlled, so to speak, right? Is that true? Am I correct, Fusnabo? Maybe you can update me to kind of educate all of us about that too. I think I would be interested to also know about it, but I think in this particular case, the log4j is because of the JNDI and then the LDAP. So that's why it's kind of an issue in there. And obviously, .NET doesn't have this LDAP thing, or maybe you do things differently, right? It's not like through JNDI and all of these things, or JNI, right? I'm sorry, did I say JNDI or JNI? I always kind of got the two. Well, okay, just a bit of clarification. So JNI is the Java native interface. So this is for connecting. If you have other languages, libraries you want to connect to Java, you use JNI. So if you have C program, you can actually have that talk to Java through JNI, that interface. You have C++, same thing, other ones. And actually, interestingly, too, wanted to point out there's also a JRuby, for example, and that's actually it gets a bit more into the lower level stuff too. And there's also, like I said, JRuby, right? Let me kind of take a look into it because it might be interesting if you're, But the thing is too with Ruby, right? It used to be more popular, but now too nowadays it doesn't seem to be catching on as much. So I'm not sure how many, how many of you are doing that, but I wanted to point out too. So JRuby is essentially Ruby on the JVM. So and the person who's like leading this effort, right? One of the ones leading this effort, Chris, I'm sorry, Charlie. I'm sorry, what am I talking about? Charlie Nutter. So I know him too. He's actually based in the Midwest in Minnesota too, so not too far from me. But anyway, um, I know him too. So if you are interested, right, getting into some of these details, I can find him on here and have him talk to. Ruby on Rails. Yes, exactly. Fusnabo. Ruby on Rails. Ruby was quite popular for a couple of years ago, but not now. Yeah, not so much anymore. But anyway, then there's this effort of Ruby running on JVM. So Charlie Nutter is one of the leaders on this thing. So yeah, if you're interested, right? And why did I talk about it? Okay, so even they have things too if you're doing that. But again, I won't you know that's one of the things, right? And at one point it was very interesting, and also understanding how they do it. And then it's basically essentially too, I'm just going to point this thing out, right? There's this invoke dynamics, right? Let me kind of take a look into it. So not to say we're going to kind of divert our attention to doing Ruby or Java, Ruby on Ruby and JVM, but the thing is why it works, right? Oh, okay, it's actually not good. I have to tell Charlie about this. These links don't necessarily work, but the thing is, recent articles. What I wanted to say is, I think, okay, so JRuby based, but essentially too, you're kind of like running Ruby, right, in the JVM. But the thing is, let me kind of learn. Okay, here we go. Learn wiki. Let's go to their wiki because it's kind of interesting too. Because tutorials, let's kind of or getting actually let's do that. Getting started. Okay, this is just getting started. I'm sorry. I wanted to kind of point out too because they are making use of what is called the invoked dynamics. That thing. Well, I shouldn't say like that thing. But the thing is, invoke dynamics. See, the thing is the developer team, right? I was mentioning about Charlie Nutter. So yeah, so he's a Red Hat person. Yeah, I told it somehow. Yeah, I didn't mention, but so then there's also Thomas, this gentleman, Thomas and Marcin. I do not know the other ones, but otherwise too, Charlie is the one that I know, who I know. And he came and presented a talk for Chicago Jug 2 before my time. Yeah. Ola Bini. Oh, so you know him, Fusnabo. Okay. Yeah, that's right. It's not design. Yeah, that is very true. So that's the thing too. Ruby was originally designed, right? Not with that, and it's actually I think developed by a Japanese team or somebody, a Japanese engineer. So and then they got it to work, right? And it's basically making use of invoke dynamics inside Java. If you're interested, yeah, articles on their internals, and so yeah, so some okay. Let me kind of send it to you, but yes, so JRuby internals. If folks are interested too, right? I think there's just so many things in this world to know about. But again, it's sometimes good too if you are into JRubies, right? Yeah, and Fusnabo, you were saying something. You were was in prison. Ola Bini was in prison to the WikiLeaks. Oh, really? Okay, wow. Interesting. I thought maybe you knew him or something. That is very interesting. Okay. Wonderful. Well, sometimes it's good to know about these things. And Remedios, welcome. Hello, welcome, welcome. Yeah. Where are you based at, Remedios? Yeah, I remember you from last time, or is it last time or two times before, something like that, right? But thank you. Yeah. Yeah. You must be so smart. No, I'm not. Yeah, no. I am learning. I'm let me tell you, the more I learn about things, the more I realize there are still so many things I do not know that I still need time to learn, and that's what is propels me, every day because I always find something that I need to be learning, something I need to be fixing. That's like that. But thank you for your kind words. Yeah, thank you, Remedios. Thank you, and Fusnabo. Oh, okay. So Olaf Binney was a big OSS contributor a few years ago. Oh, okay. We should kind of search for him or something. Okay. So I told you about the oops here, right? The internal. So I thought that's very interesting too. Now this this part is actually interesting because I'm glad I found it because if you try to read up on it, then you will actually get to know the JVM better, right? Because then you need to know how can JVM be supporting other language, kind of running in its VM. So this would be kind of something interesting. So I just share it with you, right? And did I share it? Let me kind of like put the banner up too. So then it's easier, right? Create a banner. So JVB uh, design internals, right? Add banner, and then so yeah, so this is just the link to it if you are interested in finding out more, right? Again, it's not just for, I think, like I said, sometimes if you may feel that, well, this is in my immediate area, but the thing is, if you have time, right? If you're interested, curious, let's say you read up on it and you get a good understanding of JVM, how it works too. So that's how I look at things, and that's why I never have enough time, because when I'm reading something that I realize, oh, from one thing I realize I don't know the other thing, so I read up about that. So it's like a chain kind of thing, right? You keep kind of like drilling down, and then it's like, wow, this is a gold mine. There's just too many things to know about, but they are so exciting, and that's how I find, right? You don't have to feel like you have to be an expert in everything, but it's just more like the more you know, I think it just makes life more enjoyable, right? If you the thing I find is that I find suffering is that if I don't know, then I find I'm suffering. I just want to know about it, then it kind of like less suffering for me. But although you also can say it's like kind of paradoxical. The more you want to know, and then you're putting a lot of stress on yourself to try to learn. It's kind of a strange, very strange, paradoxical type of phenomenon, I should say, right? You want to know, and then in order to know, you need to work very hard. So in some ways, you put yourself under stress to learn. But on the other hand, you get a reward. Is this strange kind of phenomenon is that after you have, so to speak, you call it suffer through it, right? Well, I don't call it suffer, I more call it redemption, right? Redemptive, it's got this redemptive type of effect, right? Because in some ways you feel like, okay, it's kind of suffering, it's kind of hard and everything, you stress it. But the thing is too, at the very end, you get this really amazing kind of feeling, or kind of unspeakable type of satisfaction, let's put it that way. It's much like, if you're an athlete, if you train for sports, or even if you haven't trained for it, I'm sure that at one point in time when you were in school, you had to take physical education, right, doing sports and everything. And you know how, like, you're being forced to often run, more than what you ever have run, or swim more than what you have swam, all these things, and then you're stressing yourself. But the thing is that at the end, or at least that's my experience, is that then I found that, oh wow, my muscle is sore, but guess what, my muscles are like going to be in better shape than it was before. That's the idea. So anyway, sorry, I know I'm kind of like kind of drifting off again. Yeah, and let's see. uh, Oh, and Fusnabu says, all right, Fusnabu said, the more I learn about math, the less I know. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I know what you mean. Even I actually was a math and computer science major. And actually, if you ask me some of these things, right, linear algebra, discrete math, I don't think calculus even, I don't think I remember them right away. But the thing is, though, it's amazing, right? It's like memory being very deep. It's just been swapped out because my memory is limited. So just got swapped out. Maybe swap out is temporary space somewhere. So if I try to remember it, it gets swapped back in. So that then it's not too bad. But the thing is, too, is it is very true. If you try to remember too many things, then you're context switching all the time. Then that's also will strain you. But the thing is, though, if you enjoy doing it, it's not at all kind of, to me, right, not at all kind of troublesome. It's just part of the process. So, but thank you. Timeless potato. I love this. How about that? Timeless potato, you are amazing. Okay, let me kind of like unshare this one, and then I'll share timeless. I love your comment. Timeless potato says addiction to knowledge. How about that? I love it. It's a good addiction, I think. Well, the thing is too, it is very true. When we do things, we have to always make sure we're not overboard. I think it's very easy to say we kind of love it, and when you kind of cross that threshold, then you're gonna be a little bit too crazy, and it's not good. It becomes detrimental. So I think the point is that it's like any kind of graph, right? If you can, that it kind of plateau at some point. So don't stretch yourself above that threshold, because otherwise you're gonna kind of like, everything is gonna, what you call it, like counter yourself, right? Your original intention, or kind of backfire, right? That's the word I'm trying to use. It will backfire, and then it creates some kind of negative outcome. So that's the thing we have to be careful about. Yeah. So, well, Vu's novel. Wow. I tell you, what is suffering? Migrating. Okay, here we go. All right, let's share what Fusnabo says. What is suffering? Migrating a COBOL schema from 1980s to SQL. Wow, really? Wow, I've never even kind of imagined the amount of work that would be involved, isn't it? From 1980s COBOL schema, and imagine too, COBOL is such a verbose language too. Oh my gosh, and you basically have to know, right? It's just even the typing part is gonna like take you hours to do, all these things, right? To kind of like set it up and everything, because everything is so descriptive in there, right? And then you convert it to SQL. Oh my gosh, I cannot even imagine. So that's a good one though. Yeah. You might be doing that, really. That is kind of must be kind of like stressful. I can imagine, man. Oh, Guy, hello, Guy Royce, you are here. Everybody meet Guys. Yeah, Guy. So Guy is wait, let me get it right straight. Guy is also a developer advocate, and you are at Redis, right? Yeah, Guy, welcome, welcome. Well, thank you for coming. I've been just kind of ranting. Well, not ranting, but just rambling, right? I should say, rambling around, because this is essentially, pre-holidays episode. I'm just like chatting everywhere. It's not really doing much, but just sharing different things and just chatting with the community. But welcome, Guy. And again, Guy is a developer advocate with Redis, and so welcome here. Guy, if you want to join me on screen, you should let me know too. But how can I send it to you? Oh, I think I have your other address, but let me know too. You can kind of message me directly. So, and okay, so Guy also says, okay, let me kind of hide this, and then let me see. So Guy says you have a talk where I compare Java and COBOL. They were comparably verbose. Oh, that's a good point. But I would think COBOL still wins, because I remember myself. I did COBOL too when I was in college for a project, and oh my gosh, I remember it's like writing English essay. It's like that, right? But Java, yes, I know it is kind of like that too, but not as much. At least it's kind of a bit of a newer thing than COBOL. But you have a good point, Guy. I agree. I agree with you. Okay, and we have Hala Karab, V Run. Well, let's see what you're gonna say. This one. What is that? vrun dot rent. Ah, okay. Okay, yeah. Is that like is it rent? And well, okay. You're gonna tell me what it means. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool. Yeah. Guy confirms. Yeah, he's at Reddit, so I didn't remember things incorrectly. Okay. And Fusnabo. Now Fusnabo is saying that. And what do you say? I actually don't think the old COBOL is that bad, and the IDE is quite good and productive for these kind of apps. APSs apps, is that right? Or APPS, right? Okay, I see. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, I did it only once, and that was like 30 years ago. So I cannot remember exactly, but I think, isn't it too? There are like micro focus COBOL too that I seem to have read. It's a bit more of a modernized version of COBOL, micro focus, right? If I don't get it wrong. But anyway, you have Fusnabo. Maybe you can share with us too at some point if you want. Next episode or something. Show us some things. How did you do that? Right? Maybe do some little code snippet so we can understand the extent of how difficult, or kind of like kind of specific it is. With COBOL, and if we have to do any conversion. So, oh, yeah. Sure. Signal. Okay, signal. Yeah, guy. Okay, let me try to avoid or invite Guy over. So, Signal. Do I have your Signal? I'm just trying to think, Guy. That is funny. Whose that was that? Is that Guy again? Yes, it's Guy. Yeah, and like I said, right, Guy, by the way, too, lives not too far from me. I mean, considering relatively speaking, well, Guy is in Ohio, so it's probably what, 5 hours driving, 6 hours driving, something like that from me in Chicago. So and and let me see. And Fusnabo, there are different versions of COBOL. Okay, yeah. Let me see. Different versions of COBOL. Some more verbose than others. Okay, yeah. Okay. AOC 19 was a chore. Okay. Apps. Okay, I got it. Apps. You're not a really program COBOL, but you're converting. Okay, I see what you mean, and I know. Yeah, six. Okay, yeah, signals, signals, Jerry signals. Okay, well, okay. Let me how you know what? It's so fun. Oh, you know what? Of course, Guy. Let me send it to you on LinkedIn. Yeah, and I'm trying to. You know what? Sometimes it's like so funny. I got too many things, and let me kind of send this to Guy because it would be good to have Guy on. I think Guy, you've been doing a lot of streaming recently too. If I recall, then maybe you can share with us some of your stuff too. I like my stream having a lot of different variety of things. So let me find you because I was trying to determine how I can get a hold of you. There we go. Okay, here we go. Hello. I found you now on LinkedIn messaging. So, yeah, so let me see. Okay, here we go. Okay, Guy, I just sent you the StreamYard link on LinkedIn messaging. So if you find that, you can connect with me here. Once I see you, then I can invite you in. So, okay. What's up? Yeah, yeah, that's right. No problem, Guy. I got it on LinkedIn. So, yeah. Um, Yeah, so Guy has been showing off his Advent of Code program, showing skills. Yes, Guy, why don't you come and show us some of your Advent of Code, And I was thinking of touching on Advent of Code today too, but I think you are the expert in here, so I should have you come in and talk about. But yes, and like Fustabo says, you've been showing off, so I'm waiting for you to show off your Advent of Code, yeah, and you help me, yeah, because then I don't need to code it. Well, no, I'm just kidding. But okay, so let me while we I'm waiting for Guy to join, right? Let me kind of let me see. Let me see a Guy, did you get it? Okay. I send it to you. I hope you are logged onto there. And then here we go. Yes, yes, yes. Let me kind of hide this. Okay. Guy, you ready?
I'm
Hey,
here.
no, although I let me kind
Me.
of
Oh,
let me
there we
kind
go.
of do this. I think this is better. How
You've
are
got
you?
you using the OBS plus the.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. So I think I don't need to too, but let me see because then it will be kind of weird if I don't share or well anyway let's do it like this for now
This is
because
fine.
then okay, yeah. So everybody, here's Guy on my stream, and Guy, yeah, and
Hi.
Guy is the Advent of Code specialist. Do you want to show off some of your Advent of Code since you are here? Because I'm also like trying to, do different things. Today is a kind of a pre-holiday episode. It's kind of a free-flowing thing, so anybody can come. In fact, Food Snabble, if you want to join me, let me know to anybody too. Let me know. So, but I do need your message so I or some strings somewhere where I can send you this link. So but Guy, would you like to? Yeah, I don't mean to be like.
I got
No.
to find the source of my feedback first. I'm hearing a loop back.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay.
So.
Okay. No
But
problem.
muting myself isn't going to. Well, muting myself would fix that problem, but it doesn't help.
Ah. Okay.
For Advent of Code, I've been streaming. Well, I haven't done it the last few days because I got busy, wrapping Christmas presents, and I looked at them and I'm like, yeah, that looks hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean.
I was thinking about doing it today, and then I went on Twitch, and I'm like, hey, Mary's streaming. I'll go watch Mary.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Let me make myself slightly bigger in here so it doesn't look kind of odd. But okay.
Yeah.
So, but thank you. Thank you. Like I said, today I'm a bit of a disorganized person, but like I always am, because as advocate, right, I have to tell you, it's just this constant thing coming in. All of a sudden, you have to do this, and all of a sudden, you have to do that. And I'm like constantly context switching is kind of a strange thing, but that's how it goes. Yeah. So even I was thinking, oh, I've been meaning to do FN of code, but I look at it, I said, no, I don't think I can do it. It's not something that you can just sit down. Like it's getting harder and harder with the recent days. So, but I did write an admin article for Java admin calendar.
Mhm.
So that's why too I was also got really busy because I was doing that writing. But it should come out Christmas Eve, by the way, if everybody's looking for it. So,
I made a graphic for a C# Advent blog post.
Oh, really?
Well, another guy on our team wrote a blog post about Redisome for C# Advent, and he's like, give it this title and make it look Christmassy. So That's my sole contribution to blogging for the Christmas season.
That's good too. That is still good. Yeah, yeah. I think we're all kept busy, but yeah. While I have you on, guys, so talking about Redis, right? It's well, you can tell us too. Maybe like if you're not gonna show. That's fine. Not showing end of code, but some of the things you're doing at Redis, maybe we can kind of talk a bit too.
Sure. That's like literally my job. I've been doing a lot of things at Redis. I mean, you've got a little bit of content, you got a little bit of coding, you got a little bit of streaming, you got some YouTube, you got some speaking at events. I mean, that's sort of the nature of being a developer advocate.
Yeah.
But the big thing I've been working on lately is this library called Redis.
Oh, okay.
Stands for object modeling.
Object modeling. Oh, okay.
So the idea is that you get you've got all these Redis data structures, you got hashes and JSON documents and stuff like that, and you want to bring them into like Java classes or Python classes or .NET classes, or in my case, JavaScript classes.
Oh, okay.
And so we wrote a library to map those back and forth.
Oh,
and I did the JavaScript one. And do you know Brian? Brian Sandboden?
I've heard of the name. Yeah,
okay,
I'm sure I've seen him. Yeah,
he did the one for Spring Redis.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah,
but that's what I've been working on a lot lately. And,
okay.
Get ready for Christmas.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Wow, that's pretty amazing. So at Redis, as an advocate, you also are working on engineering projects then. Like you said, you develop library, and so you're participating in the. Wow, that's pretty amazing because I wouldn't have time to do that.
Yeah.
I wanted to, but yeah.
I had to give. I haven't submitted to a conference in 3 months either, so that might there was a trade-off there.
Yeah, and that's the thing I find if I'm going to conferences, do all the talks, I just literally I wouldn't have time to sit down and do much coding. It's so hard because, like you said, right, as much as we think humans can multitask, but it's not possible. We are only one processor.
What was it you said, Mary? I missed that. I was checking my phone.
No, don't worry about it. I know I can, but feel free not have to stay if you're too busy too. But I'm so glad you can join. What I was saying is that I feel like sometimes I can multitask, but the fact is that it's like the always I'm just it gives the illusion of multitask. I'm doing so many things, but I can only do one thing at one time. It's what I'm finding, or at least I can produce better results if I'm only focusing on one thing at one time. Otherwise, then I find myself. It almost seems like there's a phrase in Chinese. We said it's like a boat in the middle of the water is not reaching either of the shore. You can have both shorelines. It's like I feel like I'm like in between, can never reach the shore if I'm trying to do two things at once. Yeah, but anyway, that's what I was trying to refer to. But
I said it the other day about multitasking. I said humans can multitask, but we only have one core.
yes. So true.
So it's just time slicing.
Exactly, time slicing. Exactly.
And just like when you write a multi-threaded application on a single core, a lot of your overhead is keeping track of all the threads.
All the threads. Yes, yeah, totally. And talking about which too, Kirk Pepperdine. Do you know him? He's he was with J Clarity, and he's like the Java expert, right? Performance thing. And so with Ben Evans, they were running the J Clarity, and now J Clarity is part of Microsoft. So Microsoft's been investing a lot into Java. So he's the performance guy, and he was like recently doing a research on microservices. And in fact, he was talking about how, if you follow the how like they talk about microservices, everything is independent. You have your own database, each microservices, but it's actually very inefficient, as you can see. What happened is that any kind of JVM, you have only one thread scheduler to schedule all of these jobs. So you still have that bottleneck of depending on the scheduler to schedule yourself, even though you think you have many threads or many things in your microservices. So anyway, and that's the thing. I think we like to think of ourselves as super people, computers as super thing, but still only one thing at a time is what it is.
It's actually I can tie this into Redis too.
Oh yeah, sure.
I was thinking about the threading issue, and I was thinking about how Node. I remember when Node was brand spanking new, everyone was
Yes.
going on about its big advantage was that it was a single thread, a single process,
Oh, yes.
and it was
Yes.
event driven. It basically had the architecture of Windows 3.1,
Yeah.
which I
That's
thought
right.
was kind of
Yes.
funny at the time.
That's right.
It's actually the architecture Redis has too.
Uh-huh.
It's since it's all in memory, it's super fast, but everything's atomic. There is only one thread that writes the memory.
Oh.
And so it's that same design philosophy. And microservices, you can get away with this too, where you got a simple thing that does it in and out fast, and then you can scale it up really well.
Yeah, that's right too. Yeah.
And that was why Node worked, because you could take that one processor and like just soak it.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas if you have like multiple threads, then you're not.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Like when you're looking at like the care and feeding of a server farm, back when you managed these yourself.
Yeah.
I remember doing this at Nationwide Insurance. We would you'd always monitor the CPU utilization and the memory utilization of servers in a cluster.
Yeah.
And if it got above a certain threshold, like 50%, you started getting worried.
Oh, yeah.
But with Node, it was the threshold was way higher because you could it was the only thing running.
Oh.
And so it did let you, it's just a different metaphor or
Yeah.
model. So.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Thank you. Yeah. Let me see. And let me see. There are a couple of comments.
Yeah, we're way behind on chat.
Yeah, that's right. Let me kind of now go through the chat. Okay, we stop at the part that says Guy has been showing off his FN of code. Okay, we got that. Okay, and Max is asking, what's the streaming tool? Oh, okay, I'm using OBS in my case. So yeah, so if folks are interested, yeah, it's pretty powerful. I don't know if you use it too, Guy. I use OBS to do your thing, right? Yeah, I think it's the one thing I highly recommend, but it will take some time to get used to. Yeah, and let's see. And Fusnabo said, I wrote a blog for F# Advent. Oh, that sounds great. Fusnabo, you should share it too. Or do you have it here?
It links or it didn't happen.
Yeah, that's right. Share it. Yeah. Okay. Oh, because he said he wanted to say because I mentioned about C# Advent. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. And let's see. Fusabo also says AOC 21 part 1 is easy if you want to give it a go. AOC. Oh, Advent. Oh,
code.
Yeah, Advent of Go. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I did look at that. It looked fairly straightforward, and I'm like, there's another problem hiding. Part 2 is going to be hard. That's always what happens. Is part 1 is easy, and then part 2 is like, oh, now do it a billion times.
Oh yeah. Reminds me when I was in college. It is true. Sometimes the professor give you, okay, you work on part 1 this week, and all of a sudden like part 2 is, oh my gosh, it throws you off because it's all of a sudden like this, like you said, this adding in this other requirement, right? So to speak, it just throw things off. Yeah, that's right. There are many things effectively. Okay, and okay, so this is Fusnabo. Project Loom will fix the thread overhead in JVM. Yeah, so Project Loom, yeah, that would be an interesting thing. I think when from what I read is that I think they have scheduled it to Java 19 or 18, maybe. Is it? Or 19, something like that, right around there. But I have to kind of check again. But that was like about a month ago when I read it. They said maybe Java 19 or 18. Yeah, like I said, don't take my word for it, but yeah.
What is Loom? I've been out of the Java space for a couple of years now, so I'm not as Java savvy as I used to be.
Yeah, so this is the project on virtual threads. Like fibers, it used to be called fibers, and now it's virtual threads. Yeah. So the thing is, with that is basically, well, I guess to sum up, I like to borrow. Venkat's always said that it means it allows you to write imperative code, but doing the the concurrency using like imperative style of coding. You don't need to be using the declarative like streaming style of doing like concurrency. So or declarative style. So that kind of like explain that, but it's the virtual threads. And so actually what is it? Yeah, I kind of slipped my mind, didn't kind of prepare to talk about this, but yes, it is very true. It's basically fibers, and it's meant to be more efficient and all of these things. So yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe in the next episode, let me kind of do a bit of a review. I've been like doing too many things, I just forgot exactly. Sometimes I just haven't worked with it, so sometimes you cannot remember exactly the punch word for that. So I apologize for that. So yeah,
too many things, you can't know them all.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so it got swapped out of memory. But sorry, let me swap back in for next time. Yeah.
It's like I got to move this from main storage into Flash. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Sometimes I think like that. That means I'm like, doing this for too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And okay, so Fusabo did say cooperative multitasking. Yeah, yeah. I think in some ways, yeah, Project Loom is kind of, yeah, it's not that bad. Yeah, simpler to understand. Yeah, yeah. I think so too. Yeah. Okay. So I think I'm caught up with all of the chat now. So okay, and let's see. So what else should we be talking about? Or maybe Guy, you still have any yeah, things to tell us about Redis or
No, I don't know. I just thought
yeah.
I'd hop on. It'd be fun.
Oh yeah. Sure, sure. Of course, of course, of course. Yeah, no problem, no problem. Yeah. So okay. So like I said, I've also been kind of just kind of chatting, right, rather than like doing doing too much today because again, just kind of feel like a holiday thing. So I'm like less of a kind of less of a focus on today's episode. But let me kind of take a look. I did actually write down a couple things. Let me look for my notes. I was thinking, okay, Log4j, I kind of talk about it, but somehow too, it led me to talking about the Ruby, right? JRuby, which is like running Ruby on JVM and that project. And I sent everybody the link to this design internals, how do you do it and using invoke dynamics in Java and all of these things. And so it's just that it's an FYI if anybody wants to know about it. And then other things to advent of code, I wrote down so we kind of touch on that, but we won't be doing it today because I'm not prepared unless somebody is ready to do it. I can invite you in and show it too. Okay, let's see. We do have somebody asking us a question in here. Max said something, asking Guy this question. Could you give us an overview about Redis? Oh wow, would you like to give a quick overview then? Yeah, that I think
Gosh, thank you for accepting my bribe and agreeing to post that message. I didn't mean to take over Mary's stream and talk about my company's stuff.
No. Please go ahead. I'm all open. This is an open open forum for today. So
I absolutely could talk about Redis. Redis is, I always describe it to technical folks as, all those data structures you learned about in college, the hash tables and the sets and the doubly linked lists and that sort of thing. Redis is a bunch of those in memory, fronted by a wire protocol. So you've got a server, it's all storing all those structures in memory, and you got a little wire protocol command line thing that you can do to interact with them. And then there's a bunch of client libraries so you can integrate with your apps. This can be used to make a real fantastic distributed cache. It can be used as a database to actually store your data as well. Some of the structures are useful in a way that allows you to think here. What I like about it is the data structures. If I'm using it to save data like a database, the data structures I use in Redis tend to mimic the data structures I want to use in my code. So like I'm storing my data as a hash, and so I can put in a hash in Redis, and it's a very natural metaphor. So yeah, that's kind of what Redis is in a nutshell. I could demo it if you don't know, if you'd like to see it. It's not super complicated.
Oh sure, yeah. Would you like to? Yeah.
Yeah, let me get the chat window over here.
Sure.
So that and let me bring up a terminal here.
Yeah, okay. If you want to share your screen, then I will.
I'll do that as well.
Yeah.
Allegedly, I'm maximizing my terminal, but my computer just looks like it's locked up instead.
Oh.
I used to work with this guy years ago. He had this saying. He said, low tech is go tech and high tech is die tech.
Oh, really? High tech is die tech?
Yeah. The idea being, well, he would sail, and he always took a slide rule with him.
Oh.
Like he took his charts, a compass, a slide rule, and a 6-pack of beer.
Oh.
And the charts and the compass were so he could navigate. The slide rule was so he could calculate his navigation.
Oh.
And then the beer was in case there wasn't any wind. And I'm like, well, why don't you use a calculator? He's like, well, because calculators don't like to get wet and they don't float.
Oh.
So low tech is go tech, right? That was his philosophy.
Yeah. So. Okay.
Let me see if I can share my screen here.
Sure. You should be able to, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll add that to the screen.
There we go.
Okay.
Excellent.
Cool.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the second tab here. And so Redis is, I've compiled a source here, but I'm going to run Redis server here. It just runs, right? It's just sitting there in another terminal. And Redis is starting. And then there's a little tool here I can use called Redis CLI, which will let me interact with Redis from the command line. So I can do a thing like this. Do I have anything in here? Oh, I do actually. Flush all is like rm-rf in slash. It just deletes everything without asking.
Okay. Yeah.
So Redis has a lot of data types. So you can just use your commands to set and get them. So like I could say set, foo equal to bar, and then if I get foo, it returns bar. Right. It can automatically expire these things. Expire them. So I can say set foo. Let's set bar equal to baz, and we'll expire that in 10 seconds. Now I can get bar, and then in 10 seconds, it will automatically disappear. But it'll automatically expire your cache for you. And see, now it's string nil because it's in 10 seconds.
Oh.
Let's delete it here. We've got other structures. You can do like a H set for a hash. We're going to create a hash called some hash. And then we'll say, name equals Mary. We'll H set some hash. Stream. Awesome. right. And then if I go here and look at my keys, there's a key called some hash. I can say H gets all some hash, and that will give me all the keys and values in that string. Or in that hash. So this is a hash table.
Okay.
You can do lists. You can do sets, like there's set add, sad. The sad. And then we give it a key. We'll just create a set called foo, and let's add the letters of the alphabet to it. Right. And then we can get the members of the set. There they are. We can ask if it is a member.
Okay.
A is a member. Z is not. And so you've got all these data structures, and there's this very simple wire protocol command line thingy that lets you access it. Let's do one more thing here with set. So I can do set add bar Z Y X W. But now if you sets, I can just set union of foo and bar. And then it gives me the result of those being in a union. So you got union operators and intersection operators and all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
And then there's clients for a lot of different languages to talk to this. Actually, let me look this up.
Sure. Yeah. And
there's Redis.io / I'll get this on the screen in just a minute.
Okay.
I just don't know what else on my browser tab, so I don't want to just slide over.
I can help you.
If you go to clients here, here's a list of clients by language. So there's a lot of them. Has anyone done any Crystal? I haven't done any Crystal, but
Crystal, not Crystal report. You're not.
No. Crystal's like a compiled Ruby.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's all I know about it. That's the sum total of my knowledge.
I know.
Dear. Was your name Dear Rudum?
Asking you.
Yeah, it is a key value store. And those the values in those keys can be just straight up strings. They can be hashes. They can be sets. They can be all sorts of things. There's actually a whole bunch of. Go to the commands here. You've got geosets, hashes. We got some probabilistic data structures in there. All sorts of stuff. It also has got pub sub, so you can like send messages like a networked pub sub.
Oh, okay.
Does a ton of things. You even got streams if you want sort of like a light version of Kafka.
Okay. I was going to say too, if it integrates, so you can basically have it work with Kafka, right? And basically,
I don't know exactly. I mean, you certainly write code to do that.
oh, okay,
I don't know if there's any tools specifically for integrating with Kafka.
oh, okay,
I think that would be a good idea
yeah, that's what I was going to
because
say.
Redis has got like got speed on its size, but Kafka,
Yeah,
I think, probably
yeah,
it's a more robust implementation.
yeah, okay, okay. That yeah, that would be interesting to kind of yeah to see how if
Yeah.
we can actually make the two take the best of the two and work together
Yeah.
for what we need, right?
Well, like if
Basically.
I wanted to stream in Kafka of like everything that my app had done for the past 2 years, then you could do something like that with Kafka maybe.
Yeah,
But Redis streams, that wouldn't scale to that level.
wouldn't scale. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay, yeah.
But if you got a particular microservice that's sending out its consuming some snapshot in time sort of things,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it would work. It would work fantastic for that.
yeah, yeah, that's true. Maybe like some. I suppose I was kind of thinking about microservices if we're doing like event sourcing type of scenario, right? And maybe like you can leverage on like Redis to do it.
Yeah. That's actually we have a little mini book that was written a couple of years ago on that topic, and
Oh, okay.
so
Yeah, yeah. That's cool.
I don't
cool.
have a link for it.
Yeah.
I was totally unprepared.
Oh yeah, no problem. No, no. But this is also very good too. I think that's the goal. Sometimes I find I was talking to my viewers, right? If you were here earlier, just too many things to know about, but it's good to talk about it and just kind of get like it makes it all of us aware of things that otherwise. If it's not talked about, then we are not aware. So yeah. So it is.
And to answer your question in chat there, it is often used as a cache. I mean, it makes a really good one because hey, like if you get a session store, storing that in a hash is a really obvious solution, right?
That's true. Yeah.
And so Redis is fantastic for that.
That's right.
You want to cache the results of an API call, shove it in a string, or use one of the modules like Redis JSON
That's
and
right.
store it as a JSON document if it's an API as opposed to like a website. But yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. Good question, Max.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So how about then? I was kind of thinking. What was I? You're talking about this. We cache it. Like I kind of lost my chain of thoughts. I was thinking of something else that you can use Redis for as well. Well, it will come back. Yeah. It's just too many things right now. So and then we also.
I mean, I work for Redis, so of course we think you could use it for everything.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, and then we also have somebody asking. I'm not sure. I think somebody is asking some strange. I'm sorry. I think I have somebody. I don't. I don't get what you're talking about. I guess you better if you want to ask a question, if you can explain it. Maybe it's too cryptic. Yeah, this one. Yeah, isn't too cryptic. I'm not sure if I understand. So yeah.
I don't know what that means either.
Yeah. Okay. Well, sorry about that. Cannot answer you unless you explain it. I can't even read your name because it's. I think
I
it's
might be able to. I learned a few Cyrillic letters
Oh,
when I was
really?
in
Okay.
Bulgaria.
Maybe you can make up.
It'd be it's R something S. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
The letter at the beginning of the last name is CH.
CH. Oh, okay. I want to pick up Cyrillic too, but at some point, yeah.
I know a few of the letters, but I don't know them all.
Okay.
So the P is a row; it makes the R sound.
Oh, the row. Oh, okay.
And the C is always a sound. I know that, but that's about all I got.
Okay, good. At least I know a little now. So okay, yeah. Because for me, all I know, I think in Russian is what is it? Well, how do you say thank you in? I think that's the only spasibo. Yeah, something like yeah to say thank you in Russian. That's all.
I don't even know that actually.
Spasibo.
I have friends that used to live in Russia, so you think I would know, but
yeah. But again, too many things to know. And we have Max asked another question. Okay. Max says cache management is big challenge, if not the most one in the computer world. Am I right? Yeah.
Well, things. Yeah.
I think yeah. Anything can be complicated. There's nothing simple these days, is what I feel. So, yeah. But yeah. Oh, maybe another question, obviously too. When you run Redis, do you when you launch it in cloud, right? I think it would work the same way. Is that correct? If you can deploy it the same way, like with other tools, right, or libraries, like you run it in the cloud. Is there
Yeah,
anything that's different then, or
there's
that
there's a
you
lot
need
of
to
cloud
visit?
options actually. I mean, you can always just shove it in a Docker container, of course, and run it,
Okay, yeah, yeah,
the way you want.
yeah, 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 yeah.
There's several vendors have taken the open source Redis and made products out of those.
Oh, okay.
AWS has a particularly famous one, um, whose name I shall not utter here. And I know we have one that we resell with Heroku,
Oh, yeah,
and there's
okay.
another one that we resell with um, Azure.
Oh,
And
okay.
then Redis has a cloud offering as well that's directly through us, and you can get hosted in all the main data centers
Oh,
through all the
okay.
big vendors. So there's a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
options.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's a socket connection. I mean, like
Oh,
the app I was showing you here was just here is literally just making a TCP connection to Redis on my local
oh,
machine.
oh,
It's
yeah, yeah,
running
yeah.
right here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
And I didn't even run it in Docker because I've got it compiled and ready to go. But
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
but yeah, so there's a ton of cloud options, lots of choices. I like it when you use the ones that my company sells, because then
Oh,
then my options will be worth more money when they whenever that turns into
yeah.
right. But use the thing that makes sense for your problem.
Yeah.
Lots of times that's just that can be like, as a developer. Like when I'm developing things with Redis, I don't use our cloud tools. I just use the Docker images because they're easier.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
From a developer environment, it's easier just to spin them up.
Yeah.
I don't have
That's
to worry
right.
about passwords because they
Oh,
throw
yeah.
away.
Yeah, those things. Yeah.
So it makes it easier from a less
Yeah,
friction.
yeah.
But
Totally.
for a
Totally.
production environment, you want something real, and
Oh, yeah.
it's like people will. We get questions on our Discord server all the time about I'm trying to figure out this cluster configuration with these machines and it's
Yeah.
Kubernetes and all this.
Mhm.
And actually setting up a Redis cluster is hard.
Oh, I can
And it's
imagine.
actually cheaper just to buy a cloud product.
Oh,
Right? Because the hours you spend as a human,
yeah.
it's
That's
like,
right.
well, this cloud product's costing me $60 a month. It's like, well, yeah, but we pay you $120 an hour.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's
So
true. That's true.
if
So in
you
other
fuss with it for a week, right?
yeah, 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 you're right. So in other words, does it mean like Redis, we can have like what is called like a managed Redis platform, or
Yeah.
is that what you were? Yeah, okay, okay. So that's what it is. It's basically if I subscribe to that platform, I use all the stuff, the services. It's just managed by Redis, right?
Yeah.
Like Redis, you're giving it as a service. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The other nice thing with that is that like a lot of the client libraries, the way you connect to a clustered instance of Redis, open source Redis, is different than the way you connect to just a standalone instance,
Oh,
because you got to give it multiple addresses in the cluster.
oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Because if one of them goes down, it needs to have a failover.
That's right.
And if you use a managed cloud-based Redis, then you just have a gateway you connect to, and it takes care of that for you.
Oh,
And
that's
so then
true.
it looks like a single solitary instance of Redis, even though it's clustered. So it gives you
Yeah.
the best of both worlds.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Totally, totally. Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. I think that's what I'm like seeing nowadays, right? With any kind of software, if you want to kind of run, take advantage of Kubernetes on the cloud somewhere, usually if they give you a managed option, that yeah, you need to pay to kind of get subscribe to it or whatever, but it's probably a time saving type of alternative than you trying to do it and launch it yourself and manage it. Yeah, that's just too
Because
much
cloud is
trouble.
cheap and Mary is expensive.
Yeah. People are expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'm
Awesome.
feeling a little guilty. I feel like I've taken over your stream.
Oh, no. Please do not worry about it. I was kind of thinking, like I said, I wrote down a couple of things I said, oh, it would be good to talk about. And then not knowing you join, and it's really great. Sometimes it's good to do things like on a kind of a, not what you call it, impromptu, right? Kind of it also gets you get it's nice too. I think
Yeah.
it's more spontaneous. Let's put it that way. So
Well,
yeah, and then this is great. So
what we
yeah.
can do is you can come on my stream and then take it over. That'll
Oh,
be great.
I won't take over, but yeah, I should really join your stream too. Like I said, I was just so busy past few days. So are you streaming today later, or did you already stream? Or?
I haven't streamed yet. I don't know if I will or not. Like afternoon is kind of the sweet spot I found.
No, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
If I start streaming later in the day, just the
Okay.
number of people watching tends to drop off.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's
I find like 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon is a fantastic time to start streaming.
oh
That's when
yeah,
Fuel
yeah.
Snable's hanging out.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, oh, Full Stable comes to yours too. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool. Wonderful, wonderful.
So I
Yeah.
don't know if I will this evening, but the problem, I looked at the problem for Advent of Code, and it did look a lot easier than usual.
Ah,
The,
okay.
the problem is like you've got a infinite array that's 3-dimensional,
Oh,
and it goes negative infinity to positive infinity,
okay.
and then basically you need to turn cells in that 3-dimensional array on and off, and so you'll get an instruction saying
Oh,
from giving you ranges in each dimension that overlap, make all those 1 or make all of those 0.
okay.
And then there's a whole series of these instructions, and then you got to count how many ones there are,
Oh,
which isn't too hard of a problem.
that's true. Counting.
But then part 2 is going to be hard. That's what always happens with these. Part 1's like, well, that was easy. I'm totally screwed now.
Okay, yeah. Have you been doing it every day then, pretty much, or maybe when you can, right?
I've been doing it when I can. My intention was to do it every day, but it's also a busy time of year.
True. Yeah.
And my wedding anniversary is in December. So
Oh, okay, yeah.
it was the
Okay, well,
16th.
oh, 16. Oh, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, of course, you need to take care of family
Yeah.
too.
And then there's all the Christmas wrapping and all the preparations
Yeah.
and stuff.
Totally, that's what it is. I had to do mailing, to go to post office, do all these kind of things too,
Yeah.
and that's what I've been doing. That's why I've been taking half days these 2
Yeah.
days, and just to take care of those things. Yeah, those things take so long, right? Going to post office is never easy, but yeah. But yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, yeah, and feel free to drop off too. And I just thought of, since you joined, but I can have you on a bit longer or however you want. But
I've got plenty of
otherwise,
time right now, so
oh,
it's all
cool,
good.
cool. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, but would you like to still say something more about that, or otherwise too? I was like I was kind of thinking of talking something about the community as well. It might
Yeah,
be
we can
good
do that.
too. Yeah. Yeah. So, and
Stop
just
sharing my
for
screen here.
yeah, yeah. Oh, sure, sure, sure. Yeah, 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 yeah. So, yeah, yeah. Like I said, I jotted down a few things, but since you talk about Redis already, otherwise too, I was gonna talk something about IoT, MQTT, and all these things, and because I actually will be working on new projects now, it's actually on more IoT, those things. But I can talk about it next time too, because yeah, as such, I think I've been running this stream for like how long? Oh, actually, not too long yet, and for some reason, I thought I started. Oh, yeah, that's right, because I started at you're in Central. No, you're in Eastern time.
Yeah,
So
I'm in
okay.
Eastern time.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I was like at 2:30. So now okay. So okay. So that means I still have time. I just didn't want to like drag on for way too long. Like you said, people will start to get tired after a while, like film fatigue or something. So, but otherwise too, I next thing was gonna talk about something on like community things and doing like things such as like a speakers clinic and things like that too, because I have had somebody asking me on my Discord server, asking if how would they become a speaker and things like that. So I just thought it may be good. And so I don't know if anybody is still here. I do still see a few people listed in here, but sometimes too it's interesting. I'm multi-streaming to many different ones because the thing is, my own personal Twitch too. I started doing it that way, and also on my first time, I also multi-stream to my YouTube channel. I don't know if anybody's watching there, but I realized too, because initially I'm have been only streaming, on IBM Developer. So I want to kind of make it more personalized now. So then it kind of make it a little easier. Yeah, and so anyway, so yeah, so if folks, if you're interested, if maybe I can consider doing some like an episode on like talking about how do you become a speaker and some of the tools. For example, like Max asking about the tools I'm using OBS. Maybe I can show a couple of just basic thing. How do you use OBS? And I know too, talking about which. Then there are also tools like Streamlabs and or OBS Studio, kind of more like a convenience tool. Let's put it that way. That helps you to stream too, and they have certain things that are already set up. But I'm not using those. I'm using the plain old version of OBS, and so yeah, and but I'm using Mac, so that's another thing too. Using Mac to stream is less, I guess, less what you call it efficient than if you run it on Windows. I think. And how about you, Guy? Are you using which operating system are you?
So when I stream, I have a Windows machine right over here. I'm pointing to it. It's got the RGB, so you know it's fast.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But I use Windows and OBS, the free open source OBS.
Yeah, the free one.
It just integrates with Twitch so much more nicely on Windows than it does on the Mac.
Oh, okay.
But I also bought a video capture card for it.
Oh, okay.
So I can plug my MacBook's HDMI output into the capture card.
Oh, okay.
And so then I can code on my Mac that I'm on right now, and then capture it on Windows. And this lets me do things like, I remember one time on stream, my Mac was acting up, and I was able to reboot my Mac and stay on stream. Which was really nice.
That is, I like that. I would like, yeah.
So, but I use OBS on Windows. First, I've used StreamYard too, because I know we're using StreamYard as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you're using OBS for virtual camera, and then you've got it, and then that's going piped into OBS.
Into that's right, OBS, and then and from OBS, this is a virtual camera. That's what I do.
Yeah, StreamYard is actually really easy to stream with, but it's not really cheap.
Oh yeah, that's if you use the or you pay version, right? I'm just using employer's one. That's what I'm using. But otherwise, I have my own. Yeah, that's right. If I use my own, then I'm not paying. I'm using the community version. I can only stream to one place or two places or something. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But yes, I've used the same set of tools. I do use Streamlabs stuff. They have a bunch of browser overlay things for OBS.
Oh, okay.
So like if someone follows you on Twitch, it'll display create an animation.
Oh, okay.
You can have it play an animated GIF.
Those things. Okay, I see. Yeah, that's another thing. I have not. Well, right now with my employer's Twitch, there are nothing like those plugins or those fancy little things on Twitch. I'm not able to use it, but I should try to set it up on my own Twitch stream and see how to kind of get it to work too. Yeah. Are there any? Yeah. Okay. And actually, I realized too. Yeah, Timeless Potato said something. Yeah, let me send. Work day in the life of a developer advocate stream idea. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah. Would you like to join me next week, Guy? I don't know if you have holiday plans, but for me, I'm free next Wednesday too. I normally stream. Maybe I can have you join me too.
Yeah, I can do that. I'm off next week, so I could hang out.
Oh, okay.
I don't have any plans other than my plans were to sit around the house and play video games.
Oh, okay. See, that's the thing too. Right now, I'm also not going anywhere. So even if I'm saying I'm taking time off, I'm just home. So I can. I find that this is kind of fun to do. So thank you, Timeless Potato. Yes, maybe next week I can plan an episode on like developer advocate. What do we do? That type of stuff, and maybe some more little tips here and there on like how do you become a speaker, that type of thing. Because I think with Timeless Potato or somebody asking me if I can talk about how do you become a speaker, so I can share some of these things too. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, and oops, wait, that is strange. Are you able to still see me? Yeah. Because all of a sudden
you just have the bean behind you now.
I have the what? I have the bean.
The bean. Okay. That big mirrored bean shaped thing that I think is in Chicago.
Oh yeah. Okay, that is strange. What is? Why is it that I am being? My screen is locking up on me. So let me.
Your audio is still working.
Okay. My audio is still working. Okay.
Which everyone on stream can hear you too.
Oh, okay. I don't know why. Like I'm doing this. Why? Oh, that's another question. Well, since Guy, you may know because I may be doing something, but all of a sudden my screen would lock up on me. Is it like a company security feature? Maybe something like that.
One of my coworkers had his MacBook do a forced update start a
Oh,
forced update right in the middle of a live stream.
oh my gosh. Fortunately, my company policy did not enforce that. I would
Yeah.
be so mad, if I yeah, that is not good. But for me, I wonder if it's like the company policy, maybe something. It just like automatically locks my screen. Yeah, something. But even though I think they are forcing us to do a screen save when we're like 20 minutes of idle time, but I'm not idle. I'm doing something. So I don't
Yeah.
know why it would kick on, right? Yeah. What would make it kick on? Do you know? Like because I'm doing things and why would my operating system decides to lock me up?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you're running on Mac, so it should
I
just,
don't know.
it's
Yeah.
usually pretty smart about that kind of stuff.
That's what I thought too. But anyway, I've been intrigued too. I've had this happen to me before. Thankfully, not during a stream. This is the first time. That's really odd. But I was doing some other things and I realized it just suddenly locks me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, I'm doing something. That means it is not sensing that I'm doing something. So, yeah. But anyway, it is all of these things. Yeah. Okay. And let me see what else. Yeah. Good idea. Okay. So, Max also likes the idea of the topics. Thank you. And let me see. There's another one that Max says you try to use OBS virtual camera on Ubuntu, but it's showing an inverted image. I have not used it on Ubuntu for OBS at all.
Yeah, I haven't either.
You haven't? Okay, yeah, me neither. Well, one thing I'm aware of for some reason, well, it's actually not Ubuntu, but on Fedora, I think, or Red Hat, because for my Chicago Java users group, we had a speaker from Red Hat, and then he was running either Fedora or Red Hat, and he was Linux, and then he was running OBS, but then the image, and then because he was streaming to my WebEx, which the platform I was using for the users group, and it didn't come out good too. It wasn't inverted, but when we tried to record it, it came out. We couldn't have the whole screen being like the share screen not able to be captured. So there must be something in between. I don't I yeah it would take me time to kind of diagnose to figure out some of these kind of things. Yeah, I'm not sure. So, but anyway, good question. Yeah, there's just a lot of these kind of corner cases that are just unanswered, right? All these corner questions. But okay, but thank you for asking. Yeah, we'll try to answer it next time if we can.
I kind of
So,
tend to use, the only thing I ever use Linux for is for images.
oh, yeah,
That's the thing that runs inside of Docker, right?
yeah.
But if it's a machine that I'm going to just be using day to day, it's going to either be Windows or Mac, and preferably Mac.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, I mean, video drivers and stuff like that are really hard.
Mm,
You know, and it's and, Linux is fantastic when you're on the command line. It's easily the winner. But as soon as you try and have anything you click on,
yeah.
I'd rather have Mac or Windows.
Oh, yes, yes, you're right. Yeah, when it gets to like non-command line kind of thing. Yeah, kind
Yeah.
of so to speak, right? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it is very true. Yeah, I'm used to using like Unix, or actually Unix before Linux too. I already was using it, but you're right when it comes to like all of these, yeah, graphical interface, all of these, really I go back to using Mac and Windows for that. So yeah, that's true. But anyway, yeah. Well, okay, there's just a lot of unsolved kind of mystery right now, or just not solved in my head right now. I need to figure it out. Yeah. So okay. So now we talk a bit already about user groups and community while speakers clinic, and also too another thing is that with user group too. Let me kind of one more word is that Chicago Java users group, we're trying to do like form like a study group type of activities, put that way, in 2022, and because we have some members who are interested in it, so I just thought I'd bring this up if folks are interested in forming just small little study groups and working on projects like that. Yeah, feel free, and also go to my Discord server, right? Let me kind of, again, if folks are new in here, let me just post it here. This is my Discord server if you want to join my server, and then we can kind of continue
You hear me typing,
communicating.
join your Discord server.
Would you like to join?
I'm not on there.
Oh, you know that? Yeah. Please join. Yeah, or if you have one too, I can join yours too. But otherwise too, I make it. I find that it's easier if I have another channel that we can continue, to communicate. Yeah. So yeah. So yes, folks, if you want to continue giving some ideas, also we have also a Chicago Java users group yeah, channel too. Let me kind of post that in there too. And I don't think I did this. Let me. This one is the Chicago Jug Discord server too. So that one I'm posting now. That's mine. And then let me go over there. Yeah. Oh, thank you. I see you. I have my other system. So yeah.
Yeah, I just joined.
Let me wait to you. I did. Okay. And let me kind of post my Chicago Jug one because it's a different one. Let me. I should have it ready, but I didn't. Okay. All right, let me kind of type it in here. Discord. This one is I may as well type because 7. Okay, so this other one is the Chicago Jug Discord server. So this way too, if folks wants to be on that community too. There's also another, not Discord, but I should tell you about it too. But after this, I'll display it a little longer. While in the meantime, let me also uh, create another one. Is the Chicago Tech Slack channel? If you're interested too, if anybody is interested, because then the only thing okay with Slack is that it's a community version, right? So the messages don't get archived. That's the only drawback. But otherwise, too, this Chicago Tech Slack, we have over 10,000 subscribers to it. So it's sort of like an open forum for people to join. I don't know how active it is these days. They're just got hundreds of different channels now, but still, we have folks too from not just Chicago, but outside, from the region, Midwest region, as well as outside Midwest now with all of these digital events going on. So let me kind of also post that link here. It's just will take some time because I have it on the other system. So I'll just kind of try to find that link there. I should actually have it ready, but where is it? Yeah. It's always hard to find things sometimes. Okay. Oh, to chicagotechslack.com, I think. Okay. So chicagotechslack.com.
I've been tempted to just pay so that I can get a vanity URL for my Discord server.
Oh, yeah.
Like we
Oh,
got one
yeah.
for Redis.
Oh, you have one for the Redis too.
Yeah,
Okay.
So if you go to discord.gg/Redis, right, it's easy to say.
Oh, that's right.
And I've been tempted to just pay the money and so I can get like discord.gg/Guy Royce.
Yeah. That's right. That's the only thing. Yeah, that's true. You do need to pay if you want to
Yeah.
customize all of these things. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I should really kind of go do that too. But yeah, just haven't done it. Yeah, there's just too many things going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, but anyway, so folks, yeah, if you're interested in the Chicago Tech Slack, there's also a Slack channel too. If you don't want to be on Discord, so okay, and let's see. Okay, so Max says it's a good idea. Anyone can participate. Yeah, so for all of these Slack channels and Discord that I just posted, yeah, anybody can join. Yeah, there's no restriction to it. But just all we ask you to do is to be respectful of one another, just like any other channels do. On my Chicago Tech Slack or actually my Discord, I actually do have a code of conduct kind of there too, but I think in my own, did I do it? I can't even remember. Maybe on my own channel, I don't have yeah, I should actually set one up for the code of conduct. I just haven't done it yet. Oh, okay, great. And Guy also just posted his too. So
I posted it in a non-link way because I wasn't sure if the links would come through or not.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's true. Sometimes too, if I don't, if I post it, I can just
It went through.
Yeah. Okay. This one is Guy, but Guy also has commented too, right on the Twitter. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Thank you. So okay, wonderful. So while this is going on, let me kind of look at my list of things that I thought I can talk about. Like I said, I can talk a bit too about IoT, MQTT if folks are interested. Because I'll be working on that. It's actually MQTT. I don't know if Guy, are you familiar then with IoT messaging protocol or?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. So, okay, because it actually will be my new things that I'll be talking about. So this is kind of giving a bit of a what you call it, like a precursor to what I'm going to be working on, right, in the new year. So So as such too, IoT, Internet of Things, is really about devices, your machine to machine, devices to devices type of connection. It can be industrial, kind of level too. But so the thing is, I would be at least initially focusing on is on MQTT, this protocol, which stands for message queuing, telemetry transport. Now the thing is, MQ is kind of misleading because let me give a bit of history. So MQTT is actually a protocol initially designed for oil pipelines to communicate with satellites too. So it was designed back in like 1999, somewhere along those lines. I think it was 1999 something, but it's a bit of an older thing that first came out. It was actually designed by an IBM person, Andy Clark. He's based in the UK, and he and a partner who isn't IBMer, and they have to solve the problem with the oil pipeline and kind of do all the calculations and through satellite. So they thought, okay, we because IBM actually owns the MQ protocol, the message queuing right protocol, and so they kind of name it after that because they were going to use MQ, but find out that it cannot accommodate situation in which you have very restricted like network bandwidth and all of these things. So that's how it was. That's the bit of a history in a nutshell. And then over time, right, because of the rise of IoT, and also with IoT, there's always this concern of narrow bandwidth, very restricted like memory, very limited resources, all of these things. So MQTT kind of has been kind of leveraged on and being repurpose. I kind of borrowed this word called repurpose for doing IoT work. So that's when MQTT was born. I think it was kind of more in 2010 when IoT first coming started coming out.
Yeah.
So yeah, so to speak, and then so okay, so and also the quick thing is talking about is MQTT is making use of this pops up model of communication. Is all about messaging, publish, subscribe type of model, and it's kind of again designed, all for like doing IoT type of communication. And so okay, so and if you're familiar too with pops up type of messaging, it's relying, it's like Kafka too, it's also pops up type of thing, right? So you rely on a broker. So essentially a broker have a topic and like that, and so if you have to message to basically your client, think of it kind of Kafka client too, right? In this case, an MQTT client will have to communicate with the topic, and basically in that case too is that you publish a messages and you publish it to the topic, and basically the topic will be subscribed to by any interested clients that are interested in it. So your client too can be anything, can be written in any languages, but there are also same likewise too. You can have your producer written in any languages, and without disclosing anything. But the thing is, one of these, right, for example, Java also has an implementation of MQTT broker. We call it the broker, and that's actually HiveMQ, this company that is based in Germany that manufacture, right, make this MQTT broker. And there are also other versions like open source, for example. Now MQTT has a community version, but also has paid version. But then if folks are actually doing, if you go and search for MQTT broker, there are many implementations too. You can have, for example, Eclipse has Mosquito. It's called Mosquito, and it's actually being done in C, C or C++. Wait, I think it's C or C++. So anyway, if you look for it, it's free. MQTT broker. There's also like in Erlang too, like Vern. This is Vern, VERNE. MQ2. That's actually in Erlang too. And then if you search through, there are many other kind of implementations out there of varying degrees of support and all of these things. But essentially, they support the pops up kind of model. So that's the MQTT protocol in a really short nutshell. But I will be doing a lot more work in this aspect too. I think something I would like to do is to kind of do some demo thing, like we can actually deploy because it's designed for small devices. Maybe we can actually do it on a Raspberry Pi, on an Arduino, something like that, to kind of play around and see how it works, right? And send some signal, light up some, maybe like turn on some light, right, that's attached to your Raspberry Pi, things like that. So that this is just some kind of preview of what I would like to do in the new year, and also with the MQTT thing. Yeah, so that's a quick nutshell, but I have not did not prepare any slides this time, but again, that's a bit of a quick thing. So but thank you for listening to me. Yeah, so yeah,
That sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds
yeah,
very
yeah,
interesting. I brought it up to look at it real quick. I haven't got very far yet, but
yeah, no problem. Yeah,
Redis has a pub sub feature
yeah,
as part of it. I
yeah,
was like,
that's right.
I
Yeah,
wonder how I can
so
integrate this with a.
it
I'm
it
always
does.
looking for angles to make talks that
Yeah, that's right. So here I am also thinking too. It can actually be maybe it can definitely be making use of say caching, like for
Yeah.
example, like Redis. Right? I would like to also explore that. Who knows? Maybe we'll do a little collaborative kind of little project and do a talk on that. For example, I think that would be nice. I'm always looking for opportunities too. So yeah.
The thing that I've been noodling on, I haven't done this in a while. I need a new suite of talks. I've kind of given the ones I've been given for a year or two now. I need some new talks.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've got this fun little device right here. Have you
Oh,
seen these?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think I've seen, but I'm not sure what it is.
It's a software-defined radio.
Oh,
And so it's a USB port on one side,
okay.
and it's just a radio antenna on the other.
Oh,
And it can pick up anywhere from 0 to like 2 gigahertz.
wow.
And one of the things it can pick up is with a really cheap antenna is well, it can pick up shortwave radio broadcasts, it can pick up AM, FM broadcasts, it can pick up weather radios, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But one of the cool things is because it's plugged in your computer, you can take the sound that it's generating and run it through software and
Yeah.
decode data from transmissions.
That's right.
And one of the things, the data that's broadcast all over the place is aircraft transponder information.
Oh, that's right.
Right. And so
Yeah.
you can gather all this data. It actually is a good candidate for streaming
Yes.
of all the aircraft that your antenna is able to see in your area,
That's-
like a 60-mile radius.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, like literally behind that metal screen back there is a
Yeah.
window. It's a
Yeah.
basement window. I put an
Oh.
antenna in my basement window and I can see aircraft 60 miles away with my antenna.
Wow. Very cool.
But it's data, and I can shove that into Redis and do really cool stuff with it. And so I've been thinking about doing a talk where I track aircraft with Redis.
Yeah. Yeah. That is so interesting.
It's really kind of hard. I'm thinking, how cool of a demo would that be at a conference? Because you could gather live aircraft data based on where you're at the conference. You could do it right, and it's an international standard, so it works everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's right. But talking about which, I mean, that certainly is interesting. But are there governments? Do governments actually regulate that type of thing, like the frequency, or do they like not? Or how would they even enforce it if they don't let people?
Well, this is a receive-only device, so this is only a receiver. So there's no transmitter.
Oh, okay.
And
So
all the aircraft transponder information is broadcast in the clear.
Oh,
Because the consequences of airplanes flying into each other is much worse than the consequences of knowing where an airplane is.
Okay.
I mean, military aircraft, they can, they got to switch to turn their transponder off. Right?
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, that's right. If it is secretive, they probably would block it from being transmitted.
But I've seen police helicopters going around in my neighborhood, not in my neighborhood, but in my city.
Yeah.
I don't live in an area of town where there would be police helicopters.
Oh yeah.
I remember one time I was watching the software, like they have a piece of software that'll plot it on a graph for you or on a map.
Yeah.
And I could see all the people it was a nice Saturday with clear skies, 70-ish degrees. And I kept seeing all these small planes coming out of the small airfield near Ohio State University. It was all the hobby pilots going out on a Saturday and fly around the north of Columbus.
Oh, yeah.
It's really funny.
So you like that? Yeah. Wow. That is very cool. So you live very close to Ohio State, then it sounds like, right? You think?
Relatively. I mean, it's I don't know, maybe 10 miles away.
Oh, okay. Well, that is pretty close then. Yeah. I see. Yeah.
It's more downtown. I'm in the suburbs, but
okay. Got it.
Columbus also isn't that huge.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's not Chicago.
Yeah, I know. That's true. Yeah. Wonderful. Wow, that's so interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I always like to say Columbus is a great place to live because it's big enough that there's stuff going on, but it's not so big that there's stuff going on.
Okay.
It's big enough that if I want to watch the latest movie, I can, but it's small
Yeah.
enough
Yeah.
that we never make the news.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
like the sweet
that's
spot.
cool. Yeah, yeah, that's cool. So for you, then, and talking about which in Ohio too, if folks are actually in Ohio, right? There will be Comash in
Yeah.
January, the conference, and I think I will get to see you in person, Guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll be
so
fun.
that would be really really fun. In fact, I just was like that's why I was busy because I was trying to start to make travel arrangement. Although
Yeah.
right now with the COVID situation, I don't know. I hope they are not canceling it or something. But it looks like I called the hotel. They said everything is still on. So yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they're
Yeah,
canceling it.
okay, yeah. Are you
They
on
did
the
send an
committee?
email out to all the speakers saying, "Is everyone still good with coming?"
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right.
And I
Yeah,
think some
I
people
still.
said no.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Uh,
That's right.
and I got asked to do another talk, which means that
Oh,
the speakers backed out and they wanted me to fill in
oh,
a
you will
talk. Is
fill
probably
in.
what happened.
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay. Yeah,
but I'm
yeah,
looking forward to it. I always look
yeah.
forward to Code Mash.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I,
Are you?
I, I, I was there once. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was so much fun. Yeah, I think that's where I met you too.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. So I'm looking forward to
yeah.
that for sure. Yeah, that's a
Are
wonderful.
you going to drive or are you going to fly?
You know, that's another thing, right? The
It's
train. I'll be
close enough.
taking
Oh
Amtrak
yeah,
train,
that's
right?
right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually very convenient and but the amazing thing is that right now I will be arriving past midnight. And
Yeah, there's only like
actually
2 stops in Sandusky there.
exactly. So that's they're only like okay, arrival time is either there are two trains, either 12:30 at night or something like 4 a.m. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, do I want to go in at 12 or 4? So I decided let me do the 4 at 12. So then it's not like all of a sudden like in the morning. I mean, I
Yeah.
may as well get in and good night sleep and that everything. But anyway, but leaving too is also very interesting. It's 4 a.m. train. So yeah, and that's why I called the hotel. I said, well, would you guys be able to pick me up at the Amtrak train? I don't know if I can call Uber at that
Yeah.
hour. Yeah, so
Well, and
yeah,
Sandusky's not that big of a place, so
yeah,
I
that's
remember
true.
a few years ago, Brian Prince was making a joke about it's like, well, we finally got Uber in Sandusky. Her name is Christina,
The one-
and she's also our shuttle bus driver.
oh,
So
that is funny. But yeah, so I actually ended up sending an email, yeah, to the hotel. I said,
yeah,
"Do you think you guys can pick me up?" And apparently, they said they can make arrangements, so which
yeah,
is will be very helpful. Otherwise, I'm like, okay, where do I find a ride? And I remember when I was there in 2020, I think they had a different limousine service, and
yeah,
they would come and pick you up. But I think this time they said the hotel can take care of that. So
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
so
worst case, we won't leave you stuck there. I can always come get you.
I, know. I think they're okay. I look into the map; it's like 6 miles walk. I said I can walk too, but yeah, but I
Yeah.
guess
Well,
better.
it's January though,
Yeah, I know that's another thing. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be cold.
and,
So yeah,
and
yeah,
it's I'd say it's comparable weather in Sandusky to Chicago. Yeah.
yeah. I think it's about the same. I remember last time, but yeah. Anyway, but
But
yeah,
yeah, in a pinch, I'll come get you. No worries.
oh, okay. Oh, yeah, you'll be driving there, right? Yeah.
Well, either I will or someone I know will be. So
Oh,
either
okay.
way,
Yeah.
I'll be able to get you.
Okay, yeah, but I wouldn't want to bother anybody at so late at night, like 12 midnight.
Yeah.
Somebody pick me up at the train station.
Yeah, we
Past
don't want you walking the mean streets of Sandusky. Yeah.
oh, yeah. Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, I've never been to talking about Sandusky if folks are outside of the area. I think for me, the first time I heard of Sandusky is because of Cedar Point and
Yeah.
yeah, the huge roller coaster, right? It's just amazing. I mean, I've never been on it, but I'm aware of Sandusky is just famous for the tallest roller coaster. I haven't checked the latest, but I remember it must be like 2010 when that one really big like vertical drop is like 400 or 600 feet down. I was like, oh my gosh, how can anybody be on that huge roller coaster so sharp down? It's like, have you been up there?
I've
Yeah.
never been to Cedar Point, and I've
Oh,
lived in
okay.
Ohio my entire life, and
Oh,
I'm going to be 50 here real soon, so I feel like I failed. Uh,
oh. No, you're not.
but I've been to other theme parks in Ohio, and my wife's
Yeah.
been there many times.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Wow.
and so I'm familiar with it. I've seen it. I mean, I recognize it,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
so,
yeah.
but
That's
I've never
amazing.
actually attended.
Oh,
I kind of feel like I missed it. Like there's a time when you're young enough to enjoy roller coasters,
that's true.
and then like I don't really like roller coasters anymore. They're not fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
and and so I've missed my window for my chance to
Oh,
go and ride the roller coasters because well, I would have enjoyed it when I was younger, but now that I'm older, I don't care, and so it's like,
yeah, yeah. Which is true too. I also have to say, I mean, I'm getting older too, so I don't feel as drawn to those things. But I recall at some point in high school, especially, I was like, oh yeah, just go for
yeah.
the biggest drop and all these things, the fastest, biggest drop. But anyway, but
If I want to get dizzy, I'll just drink whiskey. Yeah.
oh, that is so funny. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, I guess I've been doing this stream for almost 2 hours now. So I think yeah, I think that's about the thing. And I was gonna say do a Spring Boot launch on Open Liberty, but I think I may leave it till next time and to do this. Otherwise it's gonna take another half hour and it is getting a bit late. I think some of our viewers from Europe is probably kind of getting quite late. So yeah, so I guess well in this case then maybe we'll just leave it at for today. Leave it here. I hope you guys have all enjoyed it and really appreciate you being here, Guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'll connect with you again. Let's schedule for another the next one Wednesday, also about like this time to
Yeah.
2 o'clock Central, kind of, but it'll be 3 o'clock
Yeah.
for you. So if you'd like to join, I'll touch
Yeah,
base.
absolutely. And we could even maybe we could simulcast it to my channel and your channel.
Oh yes, yeah. Let's do that for the next one. Yeah.
So
Sounds great. Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
I could make that happen with StreamYard with the. I could probably set that up with StreamYard on the Redis account, so I have full access to that. So.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
And we
Okay.
do just add your credentials in there, and then we can change the branding.
We can change all this. Okay. So that sounds
If
really
you're
good.
okay with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me. Yeah.
So what's your password again? No.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I also need your crypto wallet ID.
Oh yeah, all these things. Well, maybe that's why you were kind of getting so friendly. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll figure something out. I think it should be fun. It should be like the last episode of the year, and yeah, so it should be fun to talking a bit about developer advocate and other things we'll chat. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think it'll be a blast.
Yeah. All right then. Well, thank you, Guy, and thank you again, everyone. And
Thanks for having me on.
all right, yeah, all right then, yeah, and have a good rest of your day, and Merry Christmas if you're celebrating Christmas or if you're just celebrating the holiday. Happy holidays, stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Yeah, okay, bye. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, okay.